All of those energies is going to be directed towards the main theme. You're doing all of those things for the sake of love. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're doing anything out of love, that's how you manifest the most. Doesn't matter if you're going along the way making mistakes or not. These mistakes that you even think you made, if the first intent that you did before you experienced the mistake was out of love, it's always going to be positive anyway in the outcome, all the way down to you even learning a new ability to put yourself in a better situation next time and not keep producing the same fart clouds and same birds of the feather flock together type energy and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Once you're around someone who constantly be a thief and steal, eventually you're going to be doing something that's real to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, until you separate from those individuals that share them, and teamwork makes the dream work, to give you better ideas of how to go rob a bank, you can go around some individuals who like to draw and go get paint and stuff like that. But it's going to be up to you to be the strong enough spirit to not be lost in all the fart cloud, peer pressure, and the ego being more important, to the point that if you start to switch up, the individuals you already built comfortability with, they're gonna be like, yeah, you ain't no artist, you ain't no art, you can't draw, you supposed to be robbing a bank with us. Like all that fart cloud energy you got to go through for to actually, even if you have to separate from individuals so you can have that little isolation, no matter how long it take. That ain't nothing else but a correspondence of how deep of a hole you dug yourself in. But sometimes you have to have that little time alone and all those rejections and stuff like that until you get all those fart clouds away from you and be totally in that space that's open enough for God to put the people, places, and things that's supposed to be in there. And sometimes as a space, the more experiences you go through as a spirit of space, the more wider you is. So the more abilities to create circumstances and events. And if you did that a whole bunch of times in negative areas and stuff like that, then when you switch out of that area and get into a new circumstance, the amount of time and energy you put in that last one is the same amount of time and energy that you got to put in this one without those things, which may mean without those people, without those places, without those things that was robbing, thieving, or whatever like that. And you not even getting an aspect of where you at the moment until you match that energy where you was putting energy in, and then putting energy in this other area, so it don't be half cup full, and you can fully be in that next situation to match that time to fulfill how wide your spirit actually is, because you've been going through so many experiences. So the things fulfill in your spirit as far as your mind and your physical solid takes that time also. So the wider your spirit is in a solid world is the longer it takes for you to be out of a fart cloud to fully be in another space where you cleared out everything out of your space and you're now open to it to be fulfilled, to be replaced. But if you went through a lot of experiences, you got a big spirit, a big space. So you got a lot of ability and a lot of awareness. So that also means a lot of reaping what you sow too. A lot of blood on your hands too. A lot of still not getting what you want to get just because you just separated from them thieves and stuff like that. And all kind of other energies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. Ask God King. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So so sometimes the longer you was investing in something that became terrible, the longer it's going to take when you separate from it. But even for you to do what you think you're doing right now, still to open up as a door. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, these things is putting us in a situation where we have to do enough shadow work to understand these little transits and these little paths that we're going through, so we can catch ourselves and realize when we doing something wrong also. You know what I'm saying? And every day is something different. Every day is a different phase. Nothing is substantiated. Nothing is rooted. Nothing is set in stone. Unless you try to follow the shadow government and they Rosetta Stone. And the only thing that's set in the stone is their literature, their history. And these, why they stuff don't work for you. You only know how to get crumbs from these energies. So you have to be careful how to get yourself out of those type of aspects and develop your own system so you get the whole loaf. And how much y'all been practicing these generational curses, that takes me back to my allegory that I was just breaking down. The more experiences, especially the ones that you identify with that you probably didn't even experience, you become more aware with all that information, and your spirit is getting bigger because it's going in forms and out of forms, birth, life, death, mental forms out of other. So your spirit becoming more wider. So just by identifying with generational curses and stuff like that, you're making any time that you choose to realize yourself and really jump into the space you're supposed to be in, you have too much baggage. You have too much stuff you have to clear out. Too much time got to pass that even in the middle of that, you could get discouraged and backtrack or relapse. And and that don't really be having nothing to do with God. That has something to do with self-evaluation, to know that you dug yourself a hole, and the same energy you put into something is the same energy you get out. So when you're trying to get out of something, the same time span you put into something is the same time span you got to put in not participating with that. So you can start carving out that new space. And it might be a lot of things that you get interested in, and it still be blockages there. But those consequences of everything is not cleared out your space yet, aka you got fart clouds that's becoming a stench, and that stench isn't wearing off enough as an aura for you to be clear as just with your aura alone. So these gatekeepers could open up these opportunities for you anytime you try to go for your goals and your passions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So all these spiritual energies and stuff is the real mission, the real city and state, which